Our scripture today is kind of a ghost story. In honor of having just had Halloween and All Saints and All Souls and all the energy that connects us to the people we have loved who are no longer living here with us, we have this story. It's not too spooky. It shouldn't be too scary, and it is from the Bible. So I want to invite up, if there are any kids out there who want to come up and help tell this story, I would love it if you would come up here, come all the way up to the top of the stairs and stand up here with me, because we are going to say some things back towards the rest of these folks. So come all the way up. Perfect. Okay. So this is a ghost story from the Bible, right? It's from the book of Ezekiel, which is in the Old Testament, who was a prophet who lived a long time ago. Do you guys know what a prophet is? No? Do you guys know what a prophet is? Sort of, but we're not sure how to articulate it. Yep, that's how I feel about it too. The way that I think about it is a prophet is a person whose words have a lot of power, right? So when they say words, either they can make things happen with them, or they can tell something that's going to happen in the future, something that hasn't happened yet, or they can tell people something that's true, but it's kind of hard to say. Those are all things that prophets do. But it's people who speak in a powerful way. Do you know anybody who speaks in a powerful way? It's kind of hard to tell. It's a little bit of a hard question. I think we probably all do. But the power for prophets comes from God. God is with them, helping them have these powerful words, right? So Ezekiel, in our story, was a prophet, somebody with powerful words. And he spoke the truth when God asked him to, even when it was hard, even when it was scary. When he knew something, he told the truth. It's a hard thing to do. And sometimes he made things happen just by saying it when God asked him to. And sometimes he told things that were going to happen in the future that hadn't even happened yet because God asked him to. And right before the ghost story that we're going to hear today, he was telling the Israelites, who were the people who worshiped God, that even though times were really tough, things were going to get better. They were having kind of a hard day, kind of a hard time. And he told them, things are going to get better. But I'm not sure he quite believed it. He was telling them the things, but I'm not sure that he quite believed what he was telling them. So his words didn't really have the power that God was asking them to have. So, here's the surprising part. God picked him up and moved him to a new place, or maybe gave him a vision. It's not really clear. But all of a sudden, Ezekiel looked around, and he saw a valley that was full of bones. It was all kinds of bones. And so, we're going to ask everybody else in the congregation, you are the valley of bones. You can do whatever you want with your body to make that happen. Imagine this is a whole valley of bones, and we're up here being Ezekiel, all jumbled up together, all those bones laying all over the ground. What do you think that would look like? Pretty spooky, I think. All those bones just laying there. Ezekiel doesn't even know, where did all those bones come from? And God said to Ezekiel, God said, mortal, can these bones live? Which is kind of confusing, but it basically means living person. He's talking to Ezekiel. He's a living guy, right? Can all this dead stuff come back alive again? What do you think? We're not sure. It's from the Bible, so anything could happen. I think Ezekiel also knew it was a trick question. You guys feel like this is maybe a trick question? Yeah. Over there? You look. Oh, this is my microphone. Yeah, this little bit right here takes my voice and makes it loud so everyone can hear it. That's a good question. Okay, so Ezekiel hears this question. He thinks that's a trick question. So he says, oh God, you know. Like, don't ask me things that you already know the answer to, right? And God said to Ezekiel, prophesy to these bones. Use your words of power and talk to these bones. Tell them that God is going to connect them all back together and put tendons and sinews and grow them back together and connect them and put muscles and organs and skin back on them and put everything back together. So Ezekiel did that. So this is our turn. We're going to say to them, go back together. Say that to them. Go back together. Jumble yourselves back together and grow skin and bones. Grow organs. Look, it's happening. What else was Ezekiel going to do? He used those powerful words, and with a big rumble and a big rattle, maybe you guys could rumble your feet a little out there. There we go. The bones got organized. They connected back together until they were people-shaped, which was amazing. But instead of being people, it was just bodies with no life in them yet. So, partway there, but not that good still, right? So then God said to Ezekiel, we forgot the breath. Next, you have to say to them, tell the breath to come from every direction and fill these bodies up with life. So Ezekiel did that. Let's practice that too. Tell them, breath, come to these bodies. Come from the east and the west. Come from the north and the south. Fill up these lungs and bring these bodies back to life. It's happening. Bones, let's see you all take some deep breaths. All that life came back into them, and then God told Ezekiel what this was all about, what it was a symbol of. He told Ezekiel, look, when you feel like all your hope is gone, it's a really bad day, the worst day ever, and nothing's going to work, and everything is broken, and nothing will ever come back to life again, you can think about this valley of dry bones all jumbled up together. And that's how it is sometimes. And yet, if you use your powerful words that come from God, if you use those powerful words, things can change because nothing is impossible when God is helping you. Thank you so much for your help up here. We had 4 wonderful Ezekiels. Can we get a round of applause for them? You guys are great. And thank you all, dry bones. I think we should give the dry bones some applause too. Thank you, dry bones. Great job coming back to life. You guys can take your seats again. And we will all work on remembering this. A great way to remember this is to take a deep breath. To remember that when Ezekiel called on the wind to come from all the different directions, it did. And it went right into their lungs. And even when everything seemed completely disorganized, it came back. And so can we. Thanks be to God.